Hi everybody, my name is Hannah and this is Pepper and Pine and I have a chalk drawing to share with you today. We are going to be working on the lower right side of this chalkboard. We are going to be using our Sargent Art chalk pastels for this chalk drawing, and I'm just showing you some of the newer chalks that I've got because we really use ours down to the point where you can't even identify which colors they are. And for this chalk drawing, I am also using the life cycle of the frog model kit by Safari Ltd. You can find more information about the products that I use down in the description box below. All right, so I am just working on one part of this chalkboard. It is 4 feet by 6 feet. It is a slate chalkboard, but after a while, the slate just did not have enough friction, and so I painted over it with some chalkboard paint, and now I get that vibrant color again because the chalk just wasn't sticking on my chalkboard. I'm also using chalk pastels, which also give like a really nice rich color versus normal chalks. They do require a little bit more effort to erase them, so usually after a huge chalk drawing like this, I wipe it down with water before I get ready to do my next chalk drawing. All right, so for this chalk drawing, we are going to be doing the life cycle of the frog. And instead of doing what probably is a typical life cycle image with kind of a circular image with the frog and the tadpole and the eggs going like in a circular motion, I decided to do this more like the way you would find it in nature. And this is in part because of the chalk drawing that I had on the chalkboard already, which is an image of an owl swooping in for the kill. And instead of just using this last third of the chalkboard to do the remainder of the images that I wanted for our nature units, I decided to turn it all into one complete scene. And this is requested by my daughter, who is 8, who saw this and didn't want something separate. And I'm really glad that she suggested this because I think at the end it looks a lot better and a little bit more natural to what you would typically find in the environment, in a nature environment. So I have got my life cycle replicas to help me along on this. It was really challenging. This took a long time considering it was such a small chalk drawing. It took about 20 minutes to do this little image at the bottom of the chalkboard. So on the far left, you can see the eggs in the water with a frog on top, then the tadpoles, and then you have just the remainder of the life cycle. And then at the very end, I'm putting a full-grown mature frog on this rock. Now it's super tiny. I know I'm zoomed in quite a bit here so that you can see it, but it's not the first thing you're going to see when you see the image on the chalkboard, and that's okay by me. Usually I like to have some elements that kind of draw your eyes into a drawing, whether it's a chalk drawing or a crayon drawing, and then there's something else to look for and kind of an excitement when you actually see it. So once you are done looking at the owl, and you'll get a better look of that at the end of this video, and you can see the bees and the flower, then your eyes are drawn towards this part of the chalk drawing where you see the frog and the whole life cycle. And it's so tiny, but totally in its natural state. And I really love the way it turned out, except that I think that the scale is all a little bit too small for the rest of the chalk drawing. And as I pull out, you'll be able to see the remainder of the chalk drawing and how this part was just a little bit too tiny. All right, so that is the entire chalk drawing. You can see the owl on the left as well as the beehive up in the tree on the right side, and then that enlarged flower has a bee inside of it, and then you have the life cycle of the frog at the very bottom. I also included a poem right in that middle part where I was originally going to have a cross section of a flower, but I decided to put a poem there instead. All right, so if you'd like to check out the other chalk drawings on this chalkboard, you can tap on the screen right now. If you want more information about the things that I've used for this unit, you can find them on my website at pepperandpine.com. And don't forget that if you want to see what we're up to on a daily basis, you can find me on Instagram at pepperandpine.